understand that you had a PowerPoint presentation that was shown to the committee. So if you could take a few minutes to kind of go through that as well to give greater understanding to the people who weren't there in regards to this event.
Sure. Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. Mr. Farland, if you'll put up that PowerPoint presentation and take us to slide 5. We'll run just through 4 of those slides to give a brief overview about this event specifically. Okay, so slide 5 there basically starts with an operational cost breakdown of the July 4th event. You can see the actual costs of 2015. You can compare that with the proposed costs of 2016, and you will see that 2016 comes out a little more than $8,000 more than last year's actual costs. But you can see the breakdown. Most of that is supply, rental costs, vendors, et cetera, coming in. Next slide, Mr. Farland. This is a staff cost breakdown. Again, looking at the difference between 2015 and 2016, it gets very significant. You go from $44,600 and change to $95,100. The primary reasons for that is last year, the city recognized July 4th on the Monday, which was not the actual holiday. And so the event, which was held on July 4th, was held on the Sunday. So the preparation was done Saturday. The event itself was on Sunday. Moving it to 2016, where the city recognizes the holiday on the actual day, which is Monday, means that primary setup would occur both on Saturday and Sunday, so 2 full days of overtime, salaries, benefits, et cetera. And then the event itself would occur on an extra long day on the holiday itself, which would continue to incur overtime and even double time staff costs, plus PERS benefits and other salary benefits. That's why you see the dramatic difference between last year's salary and benefits costs versus those that would be proposed for July 4th, Monday of this year. If we transition, and then so if you just down to the bottom, you'll see there's a $60,000 difference between the actual costs of last year's event and moving forward to the proposed costs for this year's event if it were to be held on the actual date, July 4th, which is the Monday. Mr. Farland, next slide, please. Now here you get an actual comparison on the next slide between the July 4th holiday, if we actually allowed the event to occur on the Monday itself, versus moving it back 2 days to July 2nd, you can see there's an immediate and significant decrease in staff costs. Again, it has to do with the fact that now instead of having 2 full overtime days of setup and the extra long day on which the event itself would occur, incurring both overtime and even double time costs in some instances, now the event moving to Saturday means that all of the setup occurs on normal work days, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday leading up to it. The event itself occurs on Saturday, so overtime's incurred, but then you have minimal staff for breakdown on Sunday, so significantly decreasing those overtime salary and benefits costs, and then there are no costs incurred on Monday. And as a result of doing that, it actually results in a savings of almost $37,000 in salary and benefits costs, which are a reduction in overtime, double time, and salary and benefits costs. And then in addition to that, because working on the holiday is a premier time for vendors, et cetera, we can achieve some additional savings of approximately $13,900, again, supplies, equipment rentals, et cetera, thereby reducing total costs by moving from Monday, July 4th to Saturday, July 2nd of $50,700. That's how those savings would be realized. Be happy to answer any questions.
And what was the attendance last year?
The approximate attendance at the parade during the morning, about 5,000. The afternoon, evening for the festival, 30,000 estimated on site. But keep in mind, it's my understanding that you've got thousands who gather on other sites, other parks, in their own yards, et cetera, who are watching the fireworks display, et cetera. But on site, approximately 30,000.
And was there also a discussion about other activities at that committee meeting?
As other events?
Yes.
Yes, actually, we discussed 3 events and potential changes to 3 different events. July 4th being one. We also discussed the tree lighting, and that involved shifting it from the south lawn area where it currently occurs out to the front lawn on 6th Street. And in so doing, we think we could realize a $10,000 savings for a number of reasons, eliminating some of the attractions, diminishing some of the decorations that occur on the South Lawn. The sense is that with the South Lawn, the day of the event, you get folks who come who appreciate everything that goes on, but there's very little activity for the next 30 days or for the balance of the holiday season. And so, the real benefit isn't really appreciated. Whereas 6th Street is in traffic, people see it all the time. There are a number of events that are held there by local organizations all through the season, and so it all is appreciated at that time. So again, by shifting it from the South Lawn forward to 6th Street, realize a savings of approximately $10,000 by cutting back on a variety of activities. But one of the other ways that we save is via a partnership with Arts Alive and the various arts organizations, and getting them involved in the activity would also realize some savings. So that event would save, based on that projected change, would be about $10,000. And then the final discussion centered on what has traditionally been Mach 1 mud run. Because of drought conditions, the mud element has been removed from the run. This year for 2016, there were attempts with K-Frog, the city's primary sponsor for the event, to try and work out something different and transition it to something more in the vein of an adventure run, get UFC involved, make it a bit more challenging with some various activities on the course. Ultimately, K-Frog Corporate didn't really buy the idea, and so they backed off of their willingness to host this year's event, so it was canceled. So at this point, it's on hold. We are going to initiate some discussions for planning for 2017, but there are also some issues with K-Frog in that CBS is talking about selling off numbers of their radio stations, K-Frog included, and so 2017 at this point is a big question mark. However, at this point, we will still move forward with at least some planning discussions until we know for certain what K-Frog they're going to do.
So going back to the tree lighting event, you said there would be a savings of $10,000, but what was the cost last year on the tree lighting?
We spent approximately $47,000. The proposed budget for 2016 this year would have been $49,000. By shifting it forward, we can reduce that to something in the area of about $40,000.
Okay, I appreciate all that background information. And I bring it up and I pulled it because, one, I really didn't hear anything about it. All I did was read the agenda and staff report. And I'm looking at it. I can certainly understand the cost savings, and with our budget the way it is,